Okay, so I'm doing something that I always say that I'm going to do, but I never actually end up doing, which is doing a recap of all the stuff that I actually tested and had a first impression of. When I do an unboxing and first impression, I give my initial thoughts about something, but it's fresh out the box, and I haven't really had a chance to give it a full wearing or a few full wearings and different situations, different weathers, different days, and different occasions. And so I always say, oh, I'll come back to it. I'll do a recap. I never get around to doing it because there's always new stuff that's coming in. So this time I've been good and I've kept my word. So a while back, maybe a few videos back, I did that another stupid massive haul. You can watch that to see the origin story of what this video is all about and all the subsequent independent reviews of each one of the fragrances that I got in that particular haul. And now this is me coming back to recap on all of those fragrances and give my thoughts after sort of living with them and wearing them throughout these, I don't know, a few weeks, let's say that. I've been exclusively only wearing the fragrances from this haul, of which there was 7, but I haven't worn all 7. I've worn 6. I've worn 6 of them regularly. You'll see by the usage how much I've actually gone through in this particular span of time. Okay, kicking off with the first one of the 7, which I'm not going to talk about because it's still in its box. This is Creed's Aventus Cologne. I'm not going to talk about it because I bought this as a backup bottle because I've already got a bottle of Creed's Aventus Cologne, which I actually really do like. You can tell by how much I've actually used from it that I quite like it. It is winter here right now, so I don't think it's quite appropriate. I only wore this once when sort of the sun came out a little bit. It was a bit warm for a winter's day. Even then, I really appreciated it, and I thought, in the dry down, I thought, man, this is a bit of a beast. Like, it turns really dark and birchy and lovely, as like old Aventus used to. So I really do like this one. People say that the performance is not that great. Well, yeah, because it's supposed to perform like a cologne. It's supposed to be for warmer weather, whereas the original Aventus was initially not supposed to be for that. Anyway, that's that. I'm not going to talk about that too much. I'm going to talk about the other Creed that I picked up, which is Royal Mayfair. And you can see here, I've actually put a little bit of a dent in it. It is a 120 ml bottle. I love this. I love it absolutely. It is amazing. It is a hidden gem from Creed. I feel that that's kind of weird to say that Creed has a hidden gem. Yes, it's a $400 hidden gem. So the notes on this one are kind of scary because they read like pine and rose. When I see pine and rose, I'm like, oh, I don't know about this. And eucalyptus, which is really weird. And I think there's like a gin note in there somewhere as well. But yeah, don't be scared. It was hard to find a tester of this. Everywhere you go, they do not have a tester of this. So you have to blind buy it. And unfortunately, fortunately, I had the opportunity to blind buy it at a very reasonable price as part of this massive haul. And I'm not disappointed in this. Now, someone did tell me that this is a reissue of an older Creed fragrance, which was called Windsor, and that was even better than this. And then this is slightly watered down version of that. And then this, being a 2015 release, is actually a better version than the 100 ml bottles that you can get now, which is again a reformulated, watered down version of this. Creed with its batch variations and its watering down. I guess this is never going to end. But anyway, this smells like you stole your grandfather's signature scent. So it's probably not for young guys. And I guess it's probably for you then, because I know my demographics. I check my YouTube channel, and most of you who watch my stuff are not young. And if you think you're young, you are not young. So it's not a young guy's fragrance. But if you're more distinguished like we are, then you're good. Like I said, the notes look weird and scary, but it is so nice. And that brings up a pretty good point that I thought about with this, in that I've not really smelt a bad Creed fragrance. Like, I haven't smelled much of the women's line, but from all the men's ones that I've smelled, I haven't smelled a bad one, right? There's some that I disagree with, which is like Millésime Impérial. I don't really agree with it. I do like what it's trying to do, and the actual delivery of it is fine. And the fact that I go anosmic to Royal Oud almost instantly, I can't even smell it. But the rest that I've smelled have been great. And this Royal Mayfair, believe it or not, is up there right now as my fourth favorite creed, right behind Aventus Cologne in third, Aventus in second, and Himalaya in first. Moving on to the next one that I picked up, which is Beau De Jour or Beau De Jour, however you want to pronounce it. What can I say about this? I have a love and hate. I love and hate this one. And I think I know why. No, it's not the similarity to Davidoff's Zeno, nor is it the similarity to Roger's Danger, nor Guerlain's Heritage, which I've only got like little tiny decants of, but they're both the Eau de Toilette from the 90s, and this was full. I've gone through the whole thing because I really like it. This I'm keeping around. Once in a while I'll give it a dab. No, it's not the similarity to any of those things. It is, however, a similarity to Brut. I'll tell you a little story about this. So when I was a little kid, we had just moved to Australia, moved into our first unit by ourselves. And there's like it's on the second level of this 2-story sort of unit building. And in the front, there was like a patch of grass. And I used to play there. So I'm out there one Saturday morning, sunny morning, kicking the soccer ball around. And I notice a weird smell. And I look down and I have stepped in a very fresh and very moist pile of dog shit. And I thought, damn it, that's not great. And my sneakers are going to be stinky. So I decided to rub my feet on the grass to see if I could get it out of there, but it still stunk. So I found a little twig and I started trying to get the dog shit out of the little grooves underneath my sneaker. And I thought I'd done a pretty good job. I even sort of rinsed it with the tap a little bit as well. And I smelled my shoe and it still stunk. This thing was intensely powerful. So I thought, what am I going to do to get this dog shit smell off my sneaker? What can I possibly do? So I thought, I know. And I ran upstairs to our unit and the door was open and I took off my sneaker and I walked into my parents' bedroom and there it was, my dad's deodorant of Brut 33, this one right here. And I proceeded to empty pretty much 3/4 of the can onto my sneaker, thinking this should fix it because this thing makes things smell good. Unfortunately, what happened was the Brut combined with the dog shit smell and it made a whole new scent of its own, which was like nuclear-powered Brut and dog shit together. It actually kind of went together somehow. It layered. It was my first experience in layering scents. Let's call it that. And I have had I don't know what you'd call it, but it would be a traumatic olfactory experience. Yeah, a TOE, a toe. That doesn't have a good ring to it. But anyway, it was a bad experience nonetheless, and I've stayed away from Brut all this time. I actually bought this as a joke, as a prop, and I've had it for years, and I've only ever smelled it once, and when I did, I almost fainted. That's what happened. True story. One day, a few years back, I was actually perusing the internet, and I found myself one of these, right? And I thought, oh man, this will be good for a laugh. Why don't I just buy it? I did, and I bought it. And I don't think I've reviewed this one by itself because, it came with the Brut chain, the actual chain that comes on the bottle, and it came with soap on a rope for real Bruts. And I kept it around, and I thought I'd use it in some videos as a joke prop or kind of something like that. But then I opened it up because it was a splash, and splashes are annoying. And I smelled it, and I thought, this is actually pretty good. This is actually pretty good. So I decanted it in a little decant bottle to make it less annoying. And I've worn it a few times. And when I wear it, it is actually more than pretty good. It's actually freaking great. It is a phenomenally good scent for what it is. And it reminds me very much of Beau De Jour. But Beau De Jour has got like some more modern elements. And I did test them side by side. And even though I liked Beau De Jour at the start, Brut came on a bit more rounded, a bit more polished, as a matter of fact, a bit softer. And in the dry down, it was way better than the chemical that I smelled in the dry down of Beau De Jour. And that's the private blend. Apparently, that's the better blend anyway. And so that's my thoughts on that one. But yeah, Brut is amazing. What can I say about it? But anyway, this was supposed to be a review about Tom Ford's Beau De Jour. So let's get back to that. So somebody told me recently about Tom Ford's inspiration for this fragrance. Apparently, Tom Ford mentioned in one interview that he wanted to create a classic men's fragrance, and he imagined what the actor Cary Grant would be wearing. Apparently, Cary Grant wore Brut. And even the name Beau De Jour or Beau De Jour, or however you want to call it, I'm not going to influence anybody because I'm not an influencer, is actually a play on words from Belle de Jour, which was an erotic romance movie from 1967. And it's a totally messed up film. It's basically about a beautiful housewife who, despite loving her husband, who is a doctor, ends up renting out her meat curtains at a high-end brothel. And the madame of the brothel calls her Belle de Jour, which means beauty of the day. So I guess Beau de Jour is a fragrance for gigolos. Well played, Tom Ford. Well played. Next up, we have Amouage's Bracken Man. Well, let's see. I really want to like this one. But it hasn't happened yet. The freshly cut cedar in here is too hyper-realistic, and the clove is too short-lived. I think that the clove is better done in Clive Christian's Chasing the Dragon Hypnotic, this one, because it pairs it with cinnamon, and clove and cinnamon go together. They're like going together kind of spices. And if you want a better cedar of this type of cedar, you can get it in Pierre de Velay 11 by Roger Dove, and that pairs it with rose, and it's just better. But I guess I'm going to keep this around because from everybody who tells me that this takes time to appreciate, so I guess I'm going to keep it around for a while. I just hope that I start liking it before my bottle finishes. Next up, we've got another Tom Ford. This was Tuscan leather. As I mentioned in the previous video, this is an oily leather rag that's been used by a car mechanic. Now, I sold my ombre leather. I had the original ombre leather, and I sold it because I got tired of it. And after I sold it, I got better. And then I got this, and then I immediately got tired again. I guess I got retired. I'm a retired. But compared to ombre leather, Tuscan leather feels like it's got a lot more going on. It's super strong and it's long lasting. I feel like you'd wear this if you didn't want to smell like you're wearing a perfume, but rather you were walking around the leather tanneries of the Tuscany region whilst eating a crostata di lamponi, which is a raspberry tart. I never want to smell like that. Next up is Amouage's Journey Man, which is a love. It's an absolute love. I absolutely love this one from the start. So maybe I'll get tired of it. I'm not sure, but I've been wearing it quite a bit and I really like it. It is a peppery / boozy affair. It really reminds me of my heavy drinking and clubbing days, which is weird. Because there's even almost like a soft drink Coca-Cola-ish kind of vibe going in there that we used to have those drinks like the basic spirits that you'd mix with the soft drink because you were too young to actually handle sort of bitter spirits on their own. So you had to mix it with some sweet soft drink and then get plastered with the alcohol and the sugar at the same time. Yeah, terrible days to be reminded of, but it just smells so good. And I generally don't like smelling like booze, but this one has almost got this spiced rum and ginger ale kind of thing going on, and it's kind of addictive actually. Maybe because I don't drink anymore. Definitely keeping this one around. I'm going to be rocking it quite often during these colder winter months. And last but not least, we end with Tom Ford's Oud Wood. What can I say about this other than I'm wearing it? I'm wearing it right now. I've been wearing it quite often in many situations and in many weathers, and yet I'm still scratching my head and furrowing my brow like this. I still don't get it. I don't get the hype. And all signs point to reformulation, yes, but even if this was richer and stronger and longer lasting, it's just not a wow scent profile. It's more like comforting. It's more like a compliment to your skin. And whilst I think it works great as a skin scent, especially as your body warms up whilst you get intimate with your partner, because it's unobtrusive and inoffensive, but a hype deserver it is not. So I guess I Oud wouldn't. Oh God. Anyway, like, subscribe, comment, and thanks for watching.